himself, saying that all of the stakeholders must refrain from any speculation and have trust and faith in the premier probe agency, which is the CBI, to take the investigation into logical conclusion. And this is coming in from the CJI himself, saying that potential witnesses and the accused may now not make any statements to the media.
Well, that is right, because the family since day one was not satisfied with the speed this investigation was going with. The kind of mistakes were seen in the first post-mortem report. That's why the family wanted a second one, and in fact they also approached to the Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh to hand it over to the CBI, and the CM immediately had assured the CBI probe will be taken in this matter, and following which now we are seeing that there are in fact some points that the Madhya Pradesh police has failed to prove. In fact, it may be the duration, how long Samarth was missing, Samarth was absconding, and how he, being just an advocate, not any big criminal, was hiding from the police, and police could not trace his phone or could not trace his location. So these are some basic things that the family of Twisha believe that there is lack of coordination, or there is delay by the police. In fact, from the filing of FIR, it took 2 days to file the basic FIR. In this case, the family was
so the hearing is now ended, and this is what the interim order is now, because as far as this is coming in from the Supreme Court of India, especially when it comes to the CBI, which will formally now take over the investigation. And Priyank, this is not where the legal fight of Twisha's family ends. The matter is now going to be taken up as far as anticipatory bail is concerned in another court, which is in High Court in Madhya Pradesh.
See, Amita, I'm more concerned about what will happen to those people who want justice. What will happen to those individuals whose voices have been suppressed. We are talking about a small town, a small police station, which is there in Bhopal, where the death happened and nothing was being done. There was influential individuals who were, associated with the judiciary, former judiciary, Gidwala Singh, who had managed to put the political and all the clouds to suppress the victim's voice. It was media which brought this case into highlight. It was because of the media coverage where all these facts which were suppressed by the accused side came into light. The police did not find the CCTV footage. It was the SIT team of Times Network which found the footage. The police did not record the statement of the key eyewitnesses who were trying to disrupt the fact. It was the media which did that. And now it's being said that the victim family should not come out open and talk to any of the media network. I cannot, understand that what will happen to all those thousands, lakhs of victims in this kind of scenario who have nowhere to go. The system has failed them so many times that they have left with no option to come and talk before
Yes, it is not just about Twisha's, that there are multiple other reports that come in, especially in the cases of alleged dowry harassment, multiple of them that also go unreported. But Bhavtosh, what are we now looking at the latest, when the case can be handed over to the CBI and the CBI team then can reach Bhopal to take up the investigation from the police?
Amita, it's up to the CBI director. When CBI gets a notification from the center, Ministry of Personnel and Training will be issuing a notification, because the hearing in Supreme Court is over. And as soon as that notification comes, director of CBI will decide whether the unit from here in headquarters or whether the unit from Bhopal will take over the investigation. If that is decided, then that team will be flown, and that will in fact will go with the forensic teams. As Priyank had said, that the AIMS has already conducted the post-mortem. That will clear many doubts, and then forensic teams will also go through the WhatsApp chats and many other things. Now, as we have been reporting, because there are several allegations that have been leveled, claims, counterclaims, and insinuations have been leveled. The all-important hearing will take place at around 2:30 before the Jabalpur bench of the Madhya Pradesh High Court.
Please stay on with us, Bhavtosh. Let's try to get get legal voices on board. Mr. Deshratan Nigam is connected with us. Sir, thank you very much for your opinion, but can you tell us exactly what do we make of the Supreme Court's observations here, especially coming in the time when we are talking about the family which has been accused of dowry harassment is a high-profile family. The mother-in-law being a former judge, the district court judge, and the son also being a lawyer whose practice to license has for now been suspended. So this is some, the Supreme Court has not casted any aspersions, but has made an observation, no less.
Well, in fact, if you look at the entire proceedings in the Supreme Court, then one has to realize that nobody is above the law. And we have, right from our student days, we have learned one thing, that justice should not only be done, but it should appear to being done also. So this is a classic case that there was a perception that justice is not being done. Yes, there was a powerful family involved. So there was a perception that they are interfering in, managing the media out there, making all kinds of statements. So I believe Supreme Court, through such kind of cases, tries to send a message to a society that nobody is above the law. And therefore, this kind of an order where nobody will speak to the media and a CBI inquiry restores confidence of the common people in the law and the judicial system. And this is an excellent order, and I hope the investigations will be taken to its logical conclusion and person prosecuted and justice done to the departed soul and to her family.
No, absolutely, Mr. Nigam, because what is being observed and said by the Supreme Court should be followed to the last, when it comes to the word. But when it comes to the voice of the media, that has been highlighted on part of the family of Twisha as well, because they were saying that they were helpless to such an extent how they will be taking on such a powerful family, and that is where media became their voice.
Yes, obviously, because, if media had not actually highlighted the entire, issue, probably things would have gone in a different direction. Investigation has to be impartial, and instead of prejudicing everybody else, it's an excellent order, because perception is created among the media that so and so is innocent and so is not. Therefore, I think the Supreme Court, taking into the facts and circumstances into consideration, it's a wonderful order so far as justice is concerned.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Nigam, for your point of view. Of course, as we are waiting for other reactions to also come in, Bhavtosh, this is coming clearly from the Supreme Court, the CGI, because there are several other cases that may go unreported. But when it comes to the daughters, the betis of Bharat, this is something which he has highlighted, because he's pained with the kind of way that the family of Twisha has, what they had to undergo within 5 months of a marriage, losing such a young daughter, saying that it is better to have a divorced daughter rather than a dead daughter, a deceased daughter. This is coming in from the CGI, why he made a comment during the hearing.
Yes, Amita, in fact, there's a very important remark that has been made by Chief Justice of India, Suryakant. He has said that we must understand the sentiments. It is better to have a divorced daughter than a deceased daughter. Remember, he is the same Chief Justice of India who had, in fact, cancelled the bail of Singer. He, in fact, was the one who, in fact, put a stay on the bail. He has also said that trust Judiciary, trust CBI, because this entire narrative that had gone out is that that Judiciary is trying to protect Giribala and also Samad. So two important remarks that have been made by Suryakant in the hearing that started early in the morning. The matter was listed at 48 number. It was in fact taken up immediately by the bench of Justice Suryakant. He in fact said that this narrative should not be spread, that there is an attempt to save the mother-in-law Giribala and also Samad Singh. He also said that the case should immediately be transferred to CBI, and that case should be pursued very professionally by Central Bureau of Investigation. One has to wait and see which unit will take over the investigation. But it is this remark by the Chief Justice of India that every family should listen, that we must understand the sentiments. It's better to have a divorced daughter than a deceased daughter, because even the family of Twisha has not
just interrupting you, Bhavtosh, apologies. We're trying to get more legal voices on air. Ms. Abha Singh is also connected with us. Ms. Abha Singh ji, you must have gone through several of these cases, ma'am, when it comes to, dowry, harassment, such kind of cases where the when it comes to the party, is actually the parents of the daughter there, who they seem to have lost at a very young age. Now, as far as Twisha's case is concerned, this is an important observation that is coming from the CGI himself, that he made a comment during the hearing, ma'am, and he says that a divorced daughter is better than a dead daughter.
I absolutely agree with Chief Justice of India, Surikant ji, that a divorced daughter is any day better than a dead daughter. Definitely a divorced daughter will come back to you when the parents stand by her. India, the way patriarchy is, the parents themselves don't ask the daughter to come back. This girl was also saying, take me, but they delayed and delayed and delayed, and the thing is that they lost their daughter. But the biggest issue is that there is too much of domestic violence happening in this country, and the courts are overflowing with work. The police is overflowing with work. Even when we send women who are facing domestic violence to police stations, the police says, "ये तो मियाँ बीवी का झगड़ा है, क्या रोज कोर्ट में, क्या police station में आ जाते हो?" So I think we need separate police stations, separate organizations to especially look in.
Yes, the kind of stigma that is now attached, especially to a beti when she becomes a bahu. Well, the family doesn't need to forget that, she's been given away to the other family. She still remains an intrinsic part of their own family, and if timely action would have been taken, well, what do we know if Twisha may have been still be alive today? Not just her, in multiple other cases there, that most of them go, reported, or most of the other goes unreported as well. Abha Singh ji, thank you very much for joining in. Well, that seems to be a concern that has also been raised, Rahul Ishwar, coming in from the Supreme Court of India. Have faith in the judiciary, have faith in the investigative agencies, and they will bring the case to a logical conclusion in the unfortunate case of Twisha's death case.
Absolutely, yes. I'm a Hindu right-wing activist who believes in family and believes in the sanctity of family. But what Supreme Court said is absolutely right. See, divorce is a very painful process. Nobody is saying no. But always a divorced daughter is better than a dead daughter is a principle that all the families have to take here. In our land, sometimes in the name of family and family values, women are being squeezed and pushed to the door is an absolute fact, and we should be taking care of it. That's the reason why we have been advocating for things like premarital education, family orientation before they get into a family. And in this particular case, I hope swift justice is done. All the procedural lapses are being probed, and an impartial probe is definitely being there, and justice is brought to the victim.
Absolutely. Rahul Ishwar, thank you very much for joining in. Ms. Kiran Bedi is also connected with us. Ma'am, good morning. This is coming in directly from the Chief Justice of India, that a divorced daughter is better than a dead daughter. The stigma that needs to be removed, and this is something which is being highlighted today in the Supreme Court, ma'am.
Very strong message to the parents who think that they've got rid of a daughter after having married her away at any cost. I think that's a very good message to the parents, that the girl does not lose her right to return to her home when the situation so demands, and the parents and the brothers, so-called brothers or whatever, or the sisters-in-laws should understand that the daughter may need her home back if she wishes to. I think it's a very good message to the parents of the girls. And also a message for the girl that don't think that you've abandoned or you've become a migrant and that you've lost your parents' home. Parents' home is always available and should always remain available in the event she needs to return to. I think it's a message both even for the girl, because in this case, even the girl, as an educated girl, financially employed girl, socially aware girl, chose to ask the parents to come and take her away. मुझे ले जाओ यहाँ से. अगर उसने ये कहा कि मुझे आपको यहाँ से ले जाओ, तो क्या वो बेबी है? क्या वो बेबी है जो कहे कि मुझे मैं चल के नहीं आ सकती, आप आ जाओ? No. She should have gone back and told the in-laws that now I will come back when things get cleared and there's a life of dignity. I think she too played the role of a submissive or maybe even a financially dependent woman. She was not a financially dependent woman. She was an educated girl.
Yes,
unfortunately, this is the role she too could have played, and parents too. They both are to be, while of course in-laws will face the legal music according to evidence. But parents and the girl themselves should have gone back home, accepted back.
Yes, ma'am. And Ms. Bedi, because there has been a lot of media coverage over this, this case. There are multiple other cases that also go unreported, ma'am. But the kind of assurance that is coming from the CGI himself, he says that as far as both of the parties are concerned, they must cooperate. And the bigger message that is coming across, that is to have faith in the judiciary and to have faith in the investigative agency. Simply saying that how powerful one family can be, it cannot be above the law.
I agree. But in this case was clearly immediately made out for an urgent FIR register against the dowry death, because the law clearly says when it's a complaint linked with dowry death, FIR should be registered as it is. Had the police registered the case rather than after 2 days, then itself, and taken up the matter of investigation and started the inquiries then and on, and got a proper post-mortem in detail investigated, I think this need not have come this far, and we need not have knocked the doors of the Supreme Court. And third, a former judge making public statements which are defamatory of a daughter-in-law who's deceased, I think is also absolutely unethical. So I think this is, while I can understand the victim crying for help, victim's part, but where is this? A former judge should have said, I shall place all evidence before the investigating officer as soon as they ask me. So investigating also should have registered the FIR right then and then, rather than the victim's family going knocking the door for a FIR registration.
Absolutely. Now that the order that has been given as far as the formal transfer of the case to the Central Bureau of Investigation, so we'll see how the investigation in this case proceeds. Thank you very much, Ms. Kiran Bedi, for joining us here on the broadcast. Let's connect with Harish. He was inside when this interim order that was passed. Harish, very important points that has been made by the CGI himself during Twisha's death case hearing.